So today I want to talk about Compeed Blister Plasters and running. So if you're an endurance runner, this is probably going to be very relevant to you, or any kind of distance where blistering is a risk. And this is about kind of Compeed plasters as a potential solution. So if that's relevant to you, keep on watching, keep on listening. Welcome back to consecutive day 1795 of a diary of a runpreneur, and today's episode is all about Compeed plasters or blister plasters as they're kind of more commonly known, and running. So as stated, if you're an endurance athlete who runs, you're probably going to experience blistering issues at some point, and this is about the potential solution that Compeed plasters can provide. But before we get into that, don't forget this vlog is part of a fundraiser of saving the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultra marathon of run vlogging on consecutive days of distance of a lap of the world, barefoot style. And more people we get in front of, more money we raise, more children's lives we save, which is why I do this every single day. So back to the topic at hand, Compeed blister plasters. I'm not a chemist, but I think it's something along the lines of hydrochloride or something that's the kind of makeup of these plasters. They're basically like a plaster with adhesive around the edge, and then, you know, the traditional plasters where you get the kind of padding in the inside, it's like an absorbing kind of mesh, if you like, that absorbs the kind of blood. Blister plasters have this kind of gel or hydrochloride, if that's what it's called. Apologies if I'm getting it wrong, but it's there to kind of stick to the blister and create a kind of a moist environment for it to heal, because there's a lot of scientific evidence now that suggests wounds heal better in moist environments. Contrary to what a lot of us believed when you talk about let a blister dry out, it's actually more beneficial, apparently, to put a Compeed plaster on, create a moist environment, and it should speed up the healing process of the skin. So that's all good and good by and by, and I think the evidence is there to suggest that that's the truth. And the issue that comes is that if you're then going to use Compeed plasters and run on them, and well, first and foremost, I struggle with Compeed plasters. I obviously use them after endurance events when inevitably I get blistering. I'm a barefoot style runner in Vibram Five Fingers V runs or V runs 2.0, and I often get blistering issues, which are incredibly frustrating. I ran a Manchester Marathon Sunday just gone. It's the Wednesday now. Legs are feeling great, but my feet are still really struggling because of the blisters. And I think it's down partially to the Compeed plasters, because the problem with the Compeed plaster, if the blister is on the sole of your foot, or an area where you're going to get a lot of movement, like walking and etc., then the adhesive is going to wear away. Even the good brands, I've tried several of them, all have the same issue. And what happens when the adhesive moves away? You get rolling issues at the edge of the plaster, and the problem with that is then it sticks to the inside of your sock or the inside of your shoe or whatever you're wearing, and then it creates this kind of lump of plaster that's rolled up. And these Compeed plasters, you can't just rip them off. When they attach themselves to a blister, they almost like attach themselves to you like another piece of skin. And by trying to take the Compeed plaster off once it's been stuck down, you're risking ripping the new layer of skin that's kind of developing under the plaster off, and it's highly painful. So you have to leave them on for at least 2 or 3 days, possibly longer, before the plaster generally starts to fall off. That's the kind of general rule of thumb. So the issue you then face is if you're running every day, well, first and foremost, if you've got major blistering issues, the suggested solution is put your blister plasters on, but don't go out running. It's probably not the most sensible of ideas. Now, unfortunately, I don't get that choice, being a streak runner and being as far down as I am at 1795 days. Clearly I'm not going to stop because of blisters. And the blisters I've got at the moment, although bad enough, they're not as bad as what I've experienced in the past. I've experienced a blister that's almost 5 centimeters squared in size, which is huge, and the skin had completely ripped off, and that almost, I have to confess, almost stopped my my running streak altogether, which was that shows how bad blistering issues can be, especially when you have risk of infection. So they're not to be taken lightly. But obviously I'm out. I've got kind of, I think I had maybe 6 blisters across 2 feet after the Manchester Marathon at the weekend. 3 of them are pretty, maybe even 4 of them are pretty, not, you know, they're not really an issue. And after straining them, they've dried out pretty well and they're not causing me any discomfort whatsoever. But 3 of them, they just seem to be in the position where my feet strike the ground. So every time I put like the padding and all sorts on these, I'm still feeling the issues, and I'm still feeling quite bad today actually, which is a little bit frustrating. And I think ultimately what I learned from Manchester Marathon, I probably would have avoided this issue had I put the suitable padding on my feet before the marathon. I was trying something new on the day, which was a cardinal sin of marathon running, and it turned out to be a hindrance. Now, it did give me protection against major blistering, which has been an issue in the past without any padding whatsoever, but I then resulted in having multiple less kind of significant blistering issues, but you know, combined, they're creating quite a lot of discomfort at the moment whilst I'm running. So anyway, what learnings from my diary today as I'm getting to the kind of outcome? Well, I think Compeed plasters are actually a necessity, really, if you're struggling with blisters. They do aid the recovery process, but if you're doing any form of activity, you need to think long and hard about how you use them, because the adhesive wears out, and you do get, because they're quite a thick kind of compound compared to a traditional plaster, the rolling of them then creates kind of abnormalities in how it feels to walk and strike, because you've got these lumps on the soles of your feet where the plaster's rolled up. So you can try and keep on top of it by cutting it away, but the more you cut away, the more of the plaster then rolls up. So it's kind of a catch-22. I'm going to try this evening using some surgical kind of bandage fastening tape. I'm using the 3M version, and I'm hoping that I can stick that around the edge of the Compeed plaster to stop that happening. But I will have to redress it regularly after showers, because Compeed plasters are completely waterproof, whereas surgical tape isn't. So you're gonna have to keep on kind of reapplying. But yeah, ultimately, if you've got blistering issues, they are an aid to recovery, but certainly not an aid to providing padding or sufficiently so you can go out running. Actually, I found them a little bit of a hindrance. So as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I do, like I say, the solution I've suggested, I'll give you an update on a future episode. Maybe it'll work, I'll try it possibly tomorrow. But as always, any questions or comments, drop me a line, anything relevant I'll respond to. Please do remember though, if you believe in my mission of saving the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultra marathon of run blogging on consecutive days, the distance of a lap of the world, barefoot style, and do give this a subscribe, share, like, and comment. More people we get in front of, more money we raise, more children's lives we save, which is why I do this every single day. Thank you as always. Stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you again tomorrow.